Story time. Christmas is celebrated in Japan with decorations and festivities that you're familiar with. Christmas trees, light illuminations, and gift giving. Santa also visits Japan, bringing gifts to well-behaved children. Now, it isn't a religious holiday, but it is a special day for young families and couples to spend together. Christmas here is synonymous with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, KFC is the world's second largest restaurant chain, and Japan is its third largest market. The first store was opened here in 1970, and Colonel Sanders himself visited Japan several times in its early days. In 1970, Takeshi Okawara, manager of the first KFC, began promoting fried chicken as a substitute for traditional turkey. He marketed party barrels as a way to celebrate Christmas, which lacked widespread traditions in Japan at the time. Some argue that the KFC Christmas meal is one of the main vehicles that made celebrating Christmas widespread in Japan. But the little-known story I'm going to tell you now is about an American, a fellow Oklahoman named Randy Bass, who is known across this land as the greatest foreign player in Japanese baseball history. And how, by the strangest set of circumstances, he is forever connected to Colonel Sanders in, wait for it, dun 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 dun, The Curse of the Colonel! Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I'm just having so fun doing that. Baseball is no stranger to famous curses. In 1919, the Boston Red Sox sold their best player, Babe Ruth, to the rival New York Yankees. Ruth would become the most famous home run slugger of all time, with numerous World Series titles with the Yankees, while the Red Sox would not win another pennant for 86 years under the curse of the great Bambino. Bass started a rather unremarkable baseball career in 1977. In 6 seasons, divided among 5 teams, he only came off the bench basically to pinch hit. He went up to the majors and back down to the minors a few times and never really made his mark on baseball until in 1982, Randy Bass became a Hanshin Tiger of Japan's eternal underdog team, hitting 35 home runs in his first season, quickly becoming the Tigers' star slugger. He would go on to win 4 consecutive league batting titles, and his batting average of .389 is a record that still stands. Truly, he became the Babe Ruth of Japanese baseball. In 1985, Bass lit on fire. Most runs batted in for the season, most RBIs in an inning, most game-winning RBIs, home runs in 7 consecutive games. He even challenged Saruharu Oh's home run record of 55, but was intentionally walked at his last at-bat, preventing him from having a chance to break the record. Bass led the Hanshin Tigers to win the playoffs, sending them to the Japan Series for the first time in the franchise's 40-year history. The Tigers would continue on to win their first ever Japan Series championship, and Bass had helped take them all the way. He instantly became a national hero, won the series MVP, and became the stuff legends are made of. The city of Osaka erupted in celebration, and fans went a little bonkers. Now, it's fairly well known that Osaka breeds a special spirit amongst the Japanese, as you will soon find out. Osaka has a bustling entertainment district that straddles the Dotonbori Canal, where, on occasions when the city is gleefully celebrating a World Soccer match win, the increasingly wild Halloween parties, or a baseball championship, its most daring denizens are known to jump off the Ebisu Bridge into the canal. Following the 1985 Japan Series victory, the revelers did just that. Fans gathered on the bridge as they chanted the names of each of the Hanshin Tigers players. And one by one, a fan who looked like that player would jump into the canal. Eventually, they got to Randy Bass, and being a bearded Westerner with no look-alike in the crowd, crazed fans removed a life-size statue of Colonel Sanders from a nearby KFC, the only close-at-hand likeness of the bearded American, and threw it into the river. The Colonel sank to the bottom, and this act is said to have caused the team's plummet to last place the next year and dismal decades of loss under the curse of the Colonel. Trying to break the curse, fans made expeditions to the bottom of the river, but to no avail. Offerings to other Colonel statues had no effect on the losses. In 2003 and 2005, the Tigers did go all the way to the Japan Series, but lost both times in tense seventh-game series. And the curse lived on until in 2009, during a construction project, a diver found what he thought was a large barrel. But it turned out to be the body of the missing Colonel. At last, after 24 years, the Colonel was found and returned to his rightful place. He was missing one hand and his glasses, but the same smile and the string necktie remained. Was the curse now broken? I'll get to that in a minute. Now, Randy Bass eventually retired from baseball, but he became active in community projects and local government, while continuing to make trips to Japan as a cultural ambassador and, as you can see here, Kris Kringle himself, Old Saint Nick, visiting the children of Japan, spreading holiday cheer, and probably helping the sales of fried chicken. Here are two of his holiday cards. A funny side note was that his surname, Bass, is transcribed into Japanese as bus, like bus. During his baseball career, transportation officials asked local media to avoid headlines like "Bus explodes" or "Bus unstoppable" or "Bus crashes." But that's all forgotten now with the annual Osaka Christmas Randy Bus. Bass was elected to Oklahoma State Senate and stayed in public service until just recently. But his story as a Japanese baseball legend is mostly unknown. He basically lives a double life, where he gets off the plane here to hordes of fans, has his own brands of Triple Crown beef jerky and wine, collectible figurines, and more, and goes back home to Oklahoma as any old regular guy. So, was the curse of the Colonel broken? Well, technically not yet. Some say not until the Colonel's missing hand and eyeglasses are found will the curse be broken. And remember, Babe Ruth's curse of the Bambino lasted 86 years. So the Tigers may have a ways to go yet. But I like to think that as long as baseball legend Randy Bass and the Honorable Colonel Sanders keep spreading holiday cheer and keep the hopes for the Tigers championship someday, it's really more of a blessing than a curse. Merry Christmas.